really good. I know it's been a minute, but excuse me and let me get into it. So I know everyone this morning went through on World Star and they watched that video where the guy talked about what happened with Meek Mill. So now our subject today is back to Meek Mill, and it's not involving Nicki, which is the usual for the situation. No, this is involving Meek Mill and this guy's discussion. Now, what was initially released was that Meek Mill got into it with airport personnel because he wouldn't take a picture. Okay, but this gentleman addresses the situation. And what comes out is that it wasn't because they didn't want to take a picture, because they really didn't want to take a picture. He didn't even want their picture. And this is out of the airport in St. Louis. Okay. Now, in this airport, this guy walks up to Meek Mill when they're walking by the gang because there's some fans trying to get pictures. They won't give him. And he basically said, "Why do you want these? And let's substitute, because you already know I try to keep it clean for all my fans in a sense. I'm not raging on it, so I'm a be very mindful." He basically exposed Meek Mill as weak. He ain't who he says he is, and that got under his skin. The next thing he does is he walks up to this dude, and if you guys never been in an instance, let me explain it to you. So if you're ever in a situation, the way some dudes who move in groups will try to sun you is that they'll walk up to you and try and talk to their homeboy about you while they're trying to stand before you to get some clout, to be strong in front of you. And that's how a dude's weak. If he gotta do all that, because if he's about it, he's just gonna walk up and handle it. He ain't gotta look at his homies. He ain't gotta turn for some type of acceptance to take care of you. He's gonna take care of you. And basically Meek looked back at Melly. Look at this guy saying this. And then this guy wasn't no punk. And he stood there and said, "Yeah, you're you know what I mean?" He let him know you're weak. And that's paraphrased because he added several more words in as well as a few curse words, but he let him know he ain't real. Meek wasn't feeling that. And basically, I guess the situation died down. And now what allegedly happened, and this is all alleged, is that Meek sent his bodyguards to go take the bags and take care of the baggage. Him and the crew rode out to go see what this dude's talking about. And I mean, they're celebrities, so I'm not shocked they made it back into the cafeteria where employees are, because these dudes move as celebrities. They get rites of passage to certain places. So they moved back there, was talking to him. Now, I don't know whether it was O'Malley or Chino he's saying he hit first or who swung first, but he admitted to catching a busted lip. He did admit that. But these dudes came back to assault him, and it was a 2-verse-7. Now, anyone who's been in a brawl or something, that's outrageous. That them dudes really are weak if you takes that many of you to handle a business. Why wasn't it a 1-on-1 or at least a 2v2 or a 3v2? It was 7 dudes trying to beat 2 men. Off the top, that should tell you the type of character you're dealing with. I don't care how thug or gangster you are. If you got to swoop on a man to teach him a lesson, I can't respect you. It doesn't matter what you did, what your rap sheet is, what you're about. If you had to swoop him, there's no respect for you guys off the rip. So going into the story, he alleged that they tried to swoop him, but he was beating them up. Now that's huge, because we know what Meek Mill looked like. We know Philly, and we know these Philly dudes. It was 7 of you, and he claims he was beating you guys up. Now, the funniest part, oh my goodness, check the video. For a while, I was laughing. I'm gonna admit, I was laughing for like 10 minutes straight. He said that not only did he put the pause on Meek, but he ended up hitting Chino, who we know is doing the bike tricks and different things, like Meek Mill's poster child. Let's put it, Dream Chaser's poster child. Let's leave it aside from Meek. And Meek was like, "You hit Chino? I'ma kill you." As quoted, in quotes, as he allegedly said. Okay? That's hilarious. Like, how? Chino's a grown man like you, and he disrespected the Dream Chasers. So the reason you're finally going to stand up is because he swung on one of your dudes after you approached him back in the back. So what I'm getting from this story, and here's what I'm putting together, the mentalities. And let's begin with Meek's, because at the end he started showing celebrities and different things. I ain't worried about all that. You could say whoever's real, who's this and that, doesn't mean it's true. You had a fight with Meek. Meek could even be realer than that, but he had an off day. Who knows? But that situation does look bad. It's airport and personnel and employees. Really? You're going to go to the back and go to war? But screw all that. Let's talk about the mindset. So Meek Mill's mindset, okay? When this one regular guy said that, was like, I ain't going to look like no punk in front of these fans, but you won't take a picture with him. So why do you really care what they think about your character if you're not willing to take a picture with them in the first place? So you got this airport personnel just talking. Why do you even care what he thinks? You're in St. Louis. You're not even in Philly. So why does what he says matter? That's why not taking a picture fighting a person doesn't really make sense, because you're not taking pictures with the fans. You didn't fight those fans. But these two dudes you found a way to fight, and it's because they wouldn't take a picture. But you already wouldn't take a picture with a lot of other people. So why fight these dudes because you're not taking a picture? If they walked up and disrespected you, that's something else. But I mean, even if his words were disrespect, what he's allegedly claiming is you came back for him on a roundabout way and you didn't handle it on the spot. Now, he also allegedly said, you said, let's go over there, but he's seen a bunch of police over there. So in that scenario, Meek Mill's a star. Whoever's regular trying to get at Meek Mill is going to get tackled, slammed. Like, he's a star. So I do get what this guy's saying, why he didn't follow through with that. If that's factual. If that's factual, okay? I do see it. I see how the story could have actually played out. So on one hand, these dudes said something disrespectful because they couldn't get a picture. Maybe they were a little physical. If they weren't physical with you at all, I don't see how the fight started. It doesn't make sense. You only start fights if someone's physical or something. People could talk all day. Unless they're dissing someone that's dead in your family, something outrageous. Why really throw the hands unless you really were salty and chased them down and decided to use hands on them? Like, I could see something like that starting a fight. I don't see these regular dudes running down on you for a fight if they work at the airport. Like, it's their job, their means of survival. They wouldn't risk that unless it was really worth risking. You know what I mean? And this is crazy because we seen Meek was arrested, which lets us understand that even if everyone was arrested, he had something ill in his story to the situation that they said, wait, we need to figure out what's going on. Because on the normalcy, if a regular person gets into it with a star, that normal person is dragged off and that star continues. But in this situation, he also was detained, which tells me there's more to the story. So looking at this guy's story, hearing what he's saying, what I want to know is, do you believe him? Because as of currently, I don't see any flaw in his story if I'm thinking correctly and looking at the situation. Because what happened at first when I read, because they didn't want to take a picture, I'm like, who will fight a star because they don't want to take a picture? I was about to come on here and let you know how stupid those dudes were for trying to fight Meek for not having a picture. But when I looked at his story this morning, I'm like, wait, this is starting to really make sense. Like, if he disrespected them and they have street cred they're trying to keep, number one, if it's an employee with a 9 to 5, why are you trying to hold street cred on them? That doesn't really make sense. It's not even people you really got beef with. Like, you're risking your freedom to get respect from someone who vows not to respect you. That's not going to work. It's no need. Let them talk. What really can they say if you're really out here doing it? Like, if someone's really out here handling business and someone's screaming over the fence, oh, you're this, this, and this, and you know they ain't doing nothing, why are you worried about it? If anything, you should laugh. Because you're handling business and they're not doing anything. We're normal with a 9 to 5 working a job. I mean, you're a star. Like, you're standing out up in the clouds, up and doing what you want, showing off jewelry, women. You got all that. But you're worried about one airport attendant saying, oh, you guys ain't real. Like, it just blew my mind. Like, I'm like, wow. I'm like, are they that petty? Like, and I mean, yeah, you could fight over respect, but pride is the killer of the soul, man. When you got pride and you're in a position of power as Meek Mill and them, you got to let pride go. At some point, you got to lose your pride because you got bigger fish to fry. What if you ran into Drake? That's more than a fight with a little attendant. Like, this is Drake. He's going to have a crew. You got a crew. Who's going to come out on top? You guys, if you allegedly lost to 2 flight attendants, you do not want to run into OVO, because I do know that they got individuals that are diesel, that will put their foot up someone's rear. You know what I mean? And that's not alleged. That's not alleged. So you got to be very mindful when you travel. Like, don't waste your freedom on normal people. You're a star. Waste your freedom on letting another star know you're about that business. Unless You don't really want it to head somewhere else if you disrespect him. Now that begins starting a new story. Like, is this flight attendant, or he's not a flight attendant, let me say this airport employee, is he on to something? I mean, I don't understand. Is what he's saying that offensive that you got to attack him when he's from St. Louis and your roots are in Philly? I thought this happened in a Philly airport. I was about to say, okay, even if that went down, I understand. But this is St. Louis. What clout do you have to protect out there? Who are you really showing your skin for? Who are you really showing off for? I don't get it. Meek Mill just had a decent album release. You got more music to make. Like, yo, cut this. It has to get to a point where, as an MC representing on the East Coast, your trends back to the Mecca land, and you bring that everywhere you go. We're not on that young bull crap. We're about making money, so why are you interfering with your money? I'm your money speaking. Why are you messing with me? Why are you tripping me out? Why are you getting in brawls that have nothing to do with growth? Let's get back to the money. Philly's about making that money. Let's get back to the money. We just came out of a beef. We just came out of drama. Like, come on, dog. Like, this has to stop. We're not here for a show for TMZ. You're dancing like puppets for the other people. We need to get past this, and you need to move above this. Don't care what nobody says. Let them talk. Isn't your pockets full? Ain't that rollie on your wrist? Then you just pull up with Taxstone in that foreign car. Like, come on. We got bigger fish to fry. And I speak like I'm really a homie. Like, I speak like if I was your homie, I'd pull you in the corner and tell you this. Like, I don't care who's around. I don't care who says what. I'd let you know this. You know what I mean? And sometimes a rapper just needs someone real to let them notice. To let them know what they're worth. You know what I mean? So with that out there, it's your decision. Let me know below what you think. Do you think the guy was lying? Do you think it's true? And as we move forward, we're going to see what happens. Meek Mill was arrested too. So we're going to know what happens. Thank you for rocking with me. Share, subscribe, and you know how we make moves. All rights reserved.